Well, in March 2020 we sailed the boat, mostly cruising it, to the hole in the wall, which is on the east coast of Langkawi, and hidden away in a river complex is a number of tourist attractions. This is a landscape view of the entrance to the hole in the wall and the Kilim Geoforest Park area. I don't know why I have trouble saying that, Kilim Geoforest Park area. And here we have the actual entrance to the hole in the wall. And you can see by the video that it's fairly narrow. It makes it more significant with the video tilted on and recorded on an iPhone. This is a view of the back of the boat, the stern of the boat, as we entered the entrance to the hole in the wall. Now the geopark itself is divided up into some tourist attractions, and if you pause this video you can have a better look at those attractions. We went for a ride around some of the mangroves in the river, but I decided not to travel up the mangrove estuaries because I was worried about the trees damaging the dinghy further than what I'd already suffered. When we travelled back to the boat for more resting and bludging and enjoying the yacht liveaboard lifestyle. This is obviously is my catamaran, and you can see that the tide has turned and it's running about 3 knots, and that's a beautiful picture of the entrance. As the few days we were there progressed, there was a lot more boats arrived. We went for another spin down past the famous hole in the wall restaurant, and as you can see there's a number of different establishments on the right. You can see the yachts lined up in a row there. They store them during the wet or monsoon season, away from the bad weather and gales and storm. We stopped at the restaurant jetty and damaged the dinghy. There's no protection. The wooden jetty caused the damage. We noticed that some of the yachts were in really bad nick and needing maintenance and cleaning up, and I've since found out that because of the COVID situation, there's a lot of owners that can't get back to their boat, so they're worried about the condition of the boats. We then decided to head for the Kilim Geoforest Park jetty, where all the tourist boats and water taxis start their journeys out to the mangroves and out to the different islands for the tourists to look around. When I was here 4 years earlier, I got charged like a wounded wolf and realised that taking a private water taxi was expensive, and if I got onto one of the tourist groups I would have paid a lot less. At a guess it's about 3 kilometres from the hole in the wall restaurant and where the yacht was anchored, around towards the Bat Cave as well as the Kilim Geoforest Park jetty. The idea was to go to the Kilim Geoforest jetty and get off and have a look around. There was a lot less to see than I really thought. The last time I was travelling along these river inlets and estuaries, the tourist boat traffic was incredibly busy, and you could have been run over, just like New York's Times Square or Burke Street in Melbourne. You can pause the video and read the sign if you can speak or read Malay. But here is the tourist park jetty. Absolutely no people there, just lots of boats sitting idle. So we were able to anchor the, tie up the dinghy and walk, and the first thing we see is this education centre, and it was closed, and I would have liked to have got in there and have a look, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. And then across the road was the sanctuary Baku, and we were able to enter that. There was nobody on the gate or anything like that. It must be a free entry, and it was quite nice. It was a lovely cool day at 28 degrees. So we walked around, and it was low tide, and you could see the mud and the mangroves and the rubbish and some of the crabs and wildlife. And I think I've already said it was 28 degrees and cool, so that was good. So after that we went back to the boat because everything else was closed, and we enjoyed some peace and tranquility and quiet on our yacht, sailing vessel Wilson. You can see the mangroves. We kept away from them because of the mosquitoes, so we anchored further up, and there's the entrance to the hole in the wall and some of the beautiful scenery around where we were anchored. My wife did some painting of the scenery, which was really lovely. During our stay we got to watch some eagles feeding, or whatever they do, from our yacht at a close distance. And I don't remember what the true name of these Malaysian sea eagles is. Then it was time to say goodbye to the Kilim Geoforest Park and head for our next anchorage. The yacht, you can see in the background, was buying fish from a local fisherman, which we failed to do. About only 1/4 of fishermen like to talk to you about selling fish. So we headed north towards Tanjung, which was well up north and around in a westerly direction, and it took the rest of the day to get there because we're against the current, and my engines, I don't like to overload my engines. So we travelled up through Pulau Langkawi Strait and past some fish farms. I do have footage of that on another video. We're asked, or shouted at, to keep away, so we moved back out a little bit. And here's some video of the leaving the straits and heading out into the... If you pause this, you can see our route from the hole in the wall to the Tanjung, which is up on the north area. And we arrived late afternoon, Tanjung, and anchored just out a little bit and enjoyed the peace and quiet. And I did some cleaning of the hull because the waters were clear. Later on in the day the current had changed, entering into the inlet, and I made the rookie mistake of jumping overboard for a bucket that I'd lost without being tied to a safety line, and had to be rescued. Well, it wasn't rescue, but the local fishermen took me back to my boat. And because my wife is deaf, she didn't hear my screams for help. I didn't bother screaming because she's deaf. But yeah, this is a good area to be in. The video is produced by myself, in conjunction with myself, and it's the end of another exciting video of our time in the hole in the wall, March 2020.